Hey, what's up, guys? Randall and Steve back with you this Thursday evening. Just about 40 minutes from tip off in the Arkansas Gonzaga game. Going to break down all four games tonight. Got a lot of information to share with you, hopefully, to help you make some better decisions on these games if you haven't already bet them. Steve, in the tournament this year, 19-6 against the spread. I'm 15-2 against the spread. So seeing this tournament very well, been very successful. Do not see that changing here in the next 2 days. I know we've got some plays that we agree on tonight as well as tomorrow. So we'll go ahead and we're just going to jump right into this one. I know this game starts here in about 39 minutes. So we'll jump right into it. Arkansas, Gonzaga. Gonzaga comes into this game -9.5 against Arkansas. They interviewed Musselman after the game against New Mexico State. And when he saw the bracket, he said, my main goal or our main goal was to get to San Francisco. He's from the area. We want to play in a Sweet 16 game. We want to have a chance to go to the Final Four. All of that stuff. Definitely a motivational factor there for Arkansas. But, Gonzaga laying 9.5 in this game. They were laying 9.5 to Memphis. And, you're telling me that Memphis is on the same level as Arkansas. Now, I will say, and I told you this earlier today when we were talking about it, I do think that Memphis was definitely underseeded in this tournament. Memphis probably shouldn't have been a 9.5-point favorite. I think the odds makers had that wrong.
Great.
A 9.5-point dog. But, we're saying in this game, in my opinion, that Arkansas and Memphis are equal. And I do still think Arkansas is better than Memphis. But I would lean to the Zags in this spot. This is not a game that I'm betting. But I do like Gonzaga in this spot. There is definitely the motivational side of things for Arkansas, but definitely lean to the Zags minus the 9.5 here. JT Note's been awful in this tournament. He's not played well, and maybe he has a coming out party tonight, but he's not exactly performed, as to what I would say has been stellar.
10 for 34.
Yeah, not good at all. They squeaked past Vermont, again squeaked past New Mexico State. So, I'd have to lean to Gonzaga here. Again, not betting it. I do hope Gonzaga wins this game because I will definitely be looking to fade them in the Elite Eight. But, yeah, Gonzaga minus 9.5 here. That would be my lean on this game.
Yeah, I really wanted to bet Arkansas here, and I ended up not betting this game. But for a lean, I do look their way. I just don't think this Gonzaga team is as good as everyone else thinks. I did take Memphis against them in the last game in the first half. That was a rocking chair winner. First half money line got home as well. We'll go to this for another team too, but this perception that Gonzaga is some unstoppable machine is just not accurate. Like they've lost multiple times this season. They lost to St. Mary's. They lost to Alabama. Duke took it to them. If you have a big that can get, their two bigs in foul trouble, which Arkansas does with Jalen Williams, I think 10 points is too much. Like you said, Arkansas has won but not covered both of the tournament games. Very rare to see that, especially on small spreads. JD Note, who I really like, he's been in foul trouble in both games. He fouled out the last game. Like we said, he's 10 for 34, really playing terribly. But beyond that, they're just shooting terribly from three, 10 for 37 from beyond the arc. If they can, and Arky slows the game down.
Yeah.
They play good defense. So if they can play at their pace, I think this could be a game where they're alive to actually win at the end because they have the athleticism to roll with Zaga. I actually think that the Zaga team last year was definitely more athletic with Kispert and Scruggs. Those guys are in the NBA now for a reason.
Right.
I don't know how many NBA players necessarily on Gonzaga. I guess Holmgren's going to be one. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not betting this game, but I was close. I just think that Zaga, they're, they came out and played so poorly in the first two halves. I can just see them coming out and blasting somebody, and it's possible it's this game. So we'll see.
Yeah, and this, I mean, just looking here, I mean, we talked about this earlier in the day. This is a time of the year, especially with these point spreads, where free throw shooting comes into play. And I know we're going to talk about that here in this next game. I mean, Gonzaga 73% on the year. Timmy and Holmgren are not great free throw shooters. If this is a say 7-8 point game with a couple of minutes left and Arkansas starts to foul, I mean, it could be a hard game for them to cover late, especially if you're counting on free throws and their inability to shoot them from the line. But I mean, I personally think that, I mean, I think it's one of two ways, and we bet sometimes like this. I think it's Gonzaga on an alternate at plus money, 12, 13, 14 and a half, or it's Arkansas money line.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think it could definitely be one of the two. Now, with that said, Gonzaga maybe wins by 6, but
yeah, I mean, I think Zaga probably wins by like 4. If that happens, I'll be annoyed because I ended up scratching this bet. But yeah, it's just not. Yeah, out of all the games, this is the one that I'm not. Well, I'm not betting 2. This is one. It just.
Yeah,
I don't have a strong feel for it.
Yeah, same here. This game is one I am not betting, and on this show we're just going to talk about the games for Thursday. Here we'll be back tomorrow to do Fridays, but the other one is tomorrow, and that's Iowa State and Miami. Unless something changes overnight, don't have anything there. So next game, Michigan Villanova. Man, I'm just looking here on ticket prices here as I'm looking at this game. $19 to go to this game. This would have been. Wow, it would have been a pretty neat game to go to. Michigan, Villanova, Houston, Arizona, obviously, in the other game down there in San Antonio. Nova -5 in this game. Michigan, I mean, comes into this game, beat Colorado State, beat Tennessee. Now they're a 5-point dog to Villanova. I have a future on Villanova. I know you do as well. I really like Villanova in this spot. I locked in 4.5 the other day. It's up to 5 now. I'm not really sure that it matters. I think Villanova can cover this game pretty easily. I mean, everybody's high on this Michigan team year in and year out. I mean, we were very high on it last year. But really all year, especially early on, I mean, Dickinson was not playing stellar basketball to start the year. I mean, he's obviously hit his stride here. He's had, some solid games, 27 against Tennessee, 21 against Colorado State, and then to end the year, 33 against Michigan State, 21 against Iowa. But, I mean, looking again at the beginning of the year, I mean, 11, 13, 11, 9, 4. I mean, those were not typical numbers we were used to seeing out of Dickinson. And I know there's a lot of people making the case that Villanova is going to struggle to guard the bigs. But I think Villanova wins this game. I think their guard play is much superior. And we just touched on it earlier. We talked about Gonzaga free throw shooting. Villanova is the best shooting team from the free throw line in the history of the NCAA. And this is a team that, again, late game close, 3 or 4 points with a couple of minutes left. I mean, I'd rather have Villanova at the free throw line shooting than be on the dog in Michigan. I mean, if you get backdoored, you get backdoored. But I personally think Villanova by 10 plus in this game. A lot of people love Michigan here. I do know that, but I'm opposite here. I like Nova -5. I bet it 4.5. I'd bet it at -5 as well. So Villanova for me in this game.
Yeah, and I mean, if you've been following along, in the beginning, Randall made the comparison to this, another 11 seed back in 2018, Syracuse, and we kind of said we thought they had a chance to make it to the Sweet 16. Now, here they are, and I actually bet Michigan both on the spread and money line in the first two games. I really liked them, obviously, opening round. And then, last game against Tennessee took them as well. But, their road has been pretty easy, right? So they're only here, like we said it last time, but I mean, you see it every year. The team who's not supposed to make the tournament, they get in, then they make some noise. They probably shouldn't even be here, but here they are. But their path is pretty easy, and it was just very favorable. They went up against a Mountain West team who, we know their record, abysmal in the tournament, and their tallest player was 6'6", right? So that was a pretty easy draw. And then the second round, they get Mr. Choke Artist himself, Rick Barnes, who is 1-13 against the spread, and I think close to that straight up actually in the tournament, dating back to his tenure. Where did he coach before Tennessee? Was it Texas?
Texas, yep. Texas.
Yeah. So I'm very happy that Michigan won both games, especially last game where we had a nice price in them on the money line.
Yep.
But it's not like Michigan played very well in either of those games. They had 15 turnovers in both games. They were down at half in both games, right? So they were able to come back. Why were they able to come back? Because, one, Colorado State, they were nuclear from three in the first half. There was some regression. And Tennessee, they're just not a very well-coached team under Barnes. If they get down early to Nova, it's lights out.
Yeah.
Nova has the ability to just turn your lights out. We saw it last week in the game that I called a blowout that our senior counterpart said wasn't a blowout. But no. But, fair enough. Maybe not a legit blowout, but it was a very easy win. They're up 15 in the second half. Going back to your point, Randall, people said the same thing last week. Ohio State has some bigs to give them trouble. Didn't affect them last week when they're up 15 in the second half. And the way how Villanova plays, Wright, I think Wright's the best coach of all time. He's right behind Coach K in tournament wins, and I think we're going to probably see them face off in the final. Spoiler alert. But this is a huge coaching mismatch too. We know that our boy Bob hates Juwan Howard. Would you agree he's hands down the worst coach left in this field? It's not even close.
Yeah. I think I would have to agree there. 100%. And speaking of him, and this is an angle that I love in college basketball. How many times have we seen the picture floating around of Juwan Howard hugging the player from Tennessee that's crying, with the caption "father figure," this and that. Did we forget the punch that was thrown just a couple of weeks ago? How quick are we to forget that, he's out swinging on opposing coaches and now he's the hero? This is just the classic feel-good story that everybody wants to get behind. Oh, look at Juwan Howard. He supports these players even if they're not his own, blah, blah, blah. I love Jay Wright. I'm with you. I think he's one of the best X's and O's coaches
absolutely agreed.
Left in the field, if not the best.
Who
else are you going to argue?
Lloyd. I love Tommy Lloyd too. Only his second year, and he has just an elite team. He's an absolute stud.
I like Larinaga at Miami. Obviously, George Mason to the Final Four, but
I agree.
Jay Wright's right up there. No doubt about it at all whatsoever. So
and I guess just one more point, and the way how Villanova plays is, their guard slash and their bigs can shoot three, so they're kind of inside out. So that also negates, Michigan's size. I really don't see Dickinson being a huge problem here. And Michigan, they're not a great 3-point defense. And if Nova does shoot a ton of threes, so my only worry is they're ice cold from three. And if that happens, this game could be close. They could lose. But I think, I agree with you. I think they're going to get out to an early lead. Michigan has not been a good first half team. Even if they do, I trust Jay Wright to make adjustments. I have no faith in Howard making any adjustments. They didn't come back in those games because, Howard made these excellent second half adjustments. They came back because they were a more talented team. That's not the case here. And we'll move on after this point. But probably my favorite college team of all time the 2018 Villanova team that won and covered every game up until the championship, where they pissed all over to this team. They remind me a lot of them. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Nova just covers every game up until the final. So give me Nova. I love them, man. I'm with you.
Yep, I'm with you there. Hey, and then this next game, I mean, probably these next two, all over Twitter today. Texas Tech, Duke, and Houston, Arizona. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about Texas Tech, Duke. Texas Tech opened this game -1. Duke, I believe, is now 1.5, depending, again, on where you shop. Trying to pull that game up here. Looks like, for the most part, -110 both ways on the money line. So maybe it's a pick 'em. Let's see here. Yeah, looks like a pick 'em. So, there's so many people on Texas Tech in this game, and I cannot for the life of me figure out why. I absolutely love Duke in this spot. I think that, you're going to touch on this here in a little bit about, the age potentially, the seniors, the older kids. I mean, Duke's obviously a much younger team. But there's a lot being made let's just be honest. How many tweets have you seen of everyone ready for Coach K to hit the door? I mean, it's almost becoming a bet against Duke just simply because they want to see it happen. It has nothing to do with anything from a handicapping perspective. It's solely, we want to see Coach K go out tonight, and that's the reason that I'm betting them, because I think that it's over tonight. A lot of people are saying, if Texas Tech gets a lead like Michigan State did late, that's Duke's not going to be able to come back from that. They had their scare against Michigan State. They're going to be flat today. I mean, to me, that's just the opposite. They had their scare against Michigan State. They're going to come out, honestly, and I'll tell you what, you and I have talked about this a lot this week, and we've even said I think this is maybe the best game to live bet. But the more I look at it, the more I disagree with what we've been saying. I really think that Duke can come out, absolutely take it to them. And I mean, yeah, I guess if you want to take Texas Tech plus 7.5, then go
right.
for it. But if you're planning to bet Duke live, I'm not sure you'll get a number. I heard this morning the biggest lead prop out in Vegas, and maybe it's on some of the books here in the legal states. I haven't looked, but the biggest lead tonight is 14.5 in that Texas Tech Duke game. Now, I don't know about you, but I see no way in hell that Texas Tech goes up 14.5. And if the lead is 14.5, to me, it's going to be Duke. And they have enough offensive firepower to, outscore Texas Tech. A lot of people are making the case of the physicality. But this Duke game, there's one other game tomorrow that I really, really like. I'm not sure which one I favor more, but Duke tonight is by far my favorite play of the Sweet 16. Took them plus 1.5. Like them on the money line, obviously. I absolutely love Duke tonight. I don't see how they lose this game. I think we're destined to see Gonzaga and Duke in the Elite Eight. I mean, all of this garbage. I've seen so much nonsense on Twitter about, Duke's never won in California. Okay, that's all fine, well, and wonderful, but what does that trend have to do with this team? I mean, how many players have played in California in the Sweet 16 or in the Elite Eight? The answer is 0. I mean, so these trends and these meaningless stats, and I know you've got one you're going to share, which is even more ridiculous.
Duke is 0-7 the last 7 Thursday games.
Yeah.
The day of the week is so important to the handicap. Yeah. You can see this absolute ridiculous nonsense posted on Twitter.
Hey, if we're dead wrong about this, I'll come back tomorrow and say I was dead wrong. But I absolutely love Duke. It's my biggest bet of the night. Potentially could be my biggest bet these next 2 days. Like I said, do love a game tomorrow, but I love Duke here. I don't understand the eagerness to. Well, actually, I do, and I'm not going to give the little secret here, I guess, if you will, out on the air. You can do some research and try to figure it out. But there's a reason why we like Duke in this spot, and there's a reason that we like some of these other teams that we're going to talk about today and tomorrow. And it's something that happens every single year in college hoops during the Sweet 16. So I'll let you do a little bit of research to figure that out and then further your betting education. But yeah, Steve, anything else you've got on this Duke game that I didn't touch on?
Yeah, just a few things. I mean, like you said, everyone loves to hate on Duke, myself included. I don't like Duke. I don't like Coach K.
Right.
But, that doesn't mean that you have to bet against them every game. And don't worry, Coach K's time is coming, just not quite yet. I don't think that Texas Tech is the team to knock them off. Could they? For sure. Their defense is elite, number one in the nation. They have the size and the length to probably affect them. But, everyone making it sound like Texas Tech is this juggernaut, it's just not accurate. I mean, if you look at who they've lost to this year, they've lost to a bunch of bad teams. They lost to Iowa State. They lost to Providence. They lost to TCU. Not saying these are bad teams, but they're not on Duke's level. Lost to Kansas twice. Lost to Oklahoma. Didn't even make the tournament. And were bounced early in the NIT. They were obliterated by Gonzaga, a team who Duke beat. And then in the last round, Notre Dame had them right on the ropes. They were up 3 with 2 minutes to go before Texas Tech went on a 10-1 run to ultimately almost push. That was scary.
Yeah.
But, for as good as Texas Tech's defense is, Duke blasted Notre Dame. They only gave up 43 points. Now, obviously, you can't use the transitive property in sports betting. Team A beat Team B.
Right.
Team B lost to Team C. Team A is going to beat Team D.
Right.
You'll go broke doing that, and that's not what I'm suggesting. I'm just saying, it's not like Texas Tech is this unstoppable juggernaut by any means. They have a great defense, but they go on extremely long scoring droughts.
Right.
There's been, multiple times this season I've been watching them. They don't score for 3, 4, 5 minutes at a time. Duke, I agree. They're going to be hard pressed in the half court, but Duke does a lot of their damage in transition.
Yep.
And Texas Tech's not a great transition defense. And, Tech, they're also coached by first-year head coach Mark Adams. The first time I saw him, I said, Randall, who the hell is that old woman on the sideline? He's no Chris Beard. He's no Coach K. In fact, I don't really know where he came from. I guess he was an assistant on that team for a while, because I look back at his history. He's never done anything in his career as a head coach. And now, in a game that's lined as a pick'em against arguably the best coach of all time, I give the coaching advantage to Duke, even though, we're not a huge Coach K X's and O's guy.
Right.
But, and like you said, am I suggesting that there's some grand conspiracy theory? No. But I think everyone wants to see the Duke-Gonzaga rematch. And, all it would take is maybe 1 or 2 block charges to go Duke's way that can easily flip this game. So don't be surprised if they get some favorable whistles down the stretch, a little controversy heading into the Elite Eight. I absolutely love Duke. I won't say how much I bet, but it was a 4-figure number, and it didn't start with a 1. I love Duke. My biggest bet of the tournament. Let's go Dukies.
Yep, I am right with you there. So yeah, I know all the popular sharps and the Twitter experts are on Texas Tech tonight, and with that said, good luck. And they're also on this game. This is another very popular Twitter handicapper game, I guess, if you will. Houston, Arizona minus 1.5. -1 depending on where you look. Arizona obviously comes into this game again with a very close scare against TCU. Houston comes into this game making it look pretty easy. They blew out UAB. They blew out Illinois, who didn't even deserve to probably be in the tournament. I guess they did, but Illinois has been absolutely horrible.
They're lucky to be in that game. I mean, at one point, two missed free throws, one missed free throw, not even being there. So
yeah. So I mean, this Houston team. I mean, I told you. I guess it was. Well, it was Sunday after Houston beat Illinois. I said if this team plays Arizona, I think I'm going to be all over Houston. And the line came out. The narrative was written on this game prior to it even starting. And I absolutely love Arizona in this spot. There's a lot that people say, Arizona had a close game against TCU. It was a scare. Their luck's run out, whatever. But to me, it's just the opposite. When a team has a scare, they come out. We talked about it earlier. They come out gunning. And I understand Houston has a top defense. I understand all of that, but I do like Arizona. And I did say again before this tournament, and I guess this is my only hesitation in betting this game is I said, if Houston matches up with Arizona, the veteran leadership that they have, the age, all of that is going to come into play. Arizona's a younger team. I would lean to Houston in that spot, but things change, narratives change, games are obviously played, lines are posted, and I mean, I like Arizona in this spot. I think we see Arizona Villanova with a shot to go to the Final Four this Saturday, and I think it's going to be one heck of a game. But I like Arizona here. Houston was obviously in the Final Four last year, though. They got pounded by Baylor. I remember that game. I actually took Houston in that spot, and it was never a game. This just, to me, it just feels, again, it's a very popular, side on Twitter. It's a very popular side amongst the quote unquote sharps. And I like Arizona here. Hate going against my initial reaction. But we'll see. I'm still undecided on this, but if I bet it, I'm definitely taking Arizona.
Yeah, I already bet it. In some shops, you can get them at minus 125 on the money line. I've said it before, at this point spread range, 1.5, I always prefer my favorites on the money line, just in case. And I mean, you and I, we've liked this Houston team for a few years. I have a lot of respect for Kelvin Sampson.
Yep.
At least I had before I saw how he behaved after his last victory. He took his shirt off and the players sprayed him with a water bottle. And as an aside, there was a great tweet, and this guy's a good follow. His name's Spread Investor. He made a tweet last week. He said, always a fun one. The post-game water bottle celebrations in the locker room. Usually a fun starting point for a fade if you can find other reasons too. Would love to know the ATS stats on this. I mean, if you're celebrating that hard after a round two, victory.
A round two blowout. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
Wasn't a close game.
I mean, it was a 4-point game.
Yeah.
Before that, I guess that hang on the rim technical blew it open. Now, like we said, Illinois don't even belong to be there. Those guys, we've said it many times. Like, I think they shot like 15% from three as well. So, whatever. Randall was all over them in that game. I leaned Illinois. I was wrong. But no, this game, at full strength, I would like Houston, but they're down two starters from the beginning of the year, including Marcus Sesser, who was a key cog on the team, the Final Four team last year. Yeah, stud. And, I agree. I think there's some serious recency bias influencing this game. I mean, Arizona barely surviving against TCU while, Houston just blew Illinois. But, Illinois is a very young team. This program was abysmal until Tommy Lloyd took over. And now they just won the Big 12, and now they're the second favorite to win the Big Dance, or Pac-12.
Yeah, Pac-12.
Yeah. And, I have a lot of respect for a young team like that who, almost blows the game, finds a way to win. I view that as a positive, not a negative.
I agree.
Yeah. And I mean, same thing with Duke. Like, that's a young team. I have respect for a team that the chips are against you. You persevere, you win. For me, that's a bet on the next game, not a fade.
Yep.
And as you touched on, so Houston, they play in the Mid-Atlantic Conference, with Memphis, and they just have not done well in stepping up in class this year. They're 0-4 in quad one matchups. They were swept in the regular season by Memphis. They only faced 5 teams in the top 50. They went 1-5 against them. They split with SMU. And those 2 bad blow losses against Memphis. And like you said, last year they played a very easy schedule. The only team in the top 20 they played all last year was an absolute bloodbath in the Final Four when Baylor took it to them.
Yep.
Arizona is going to be by far the best team who they play all year. And, we love Houston because they're really athletic and they're relentless on the boards. They're undersized, but that tenaciousness, allows them to do well inside, and they're a great offensive rebounding team. But guess who's the biggest team in the nation? Zona. Guess who's number 2 nationally in 2-point percentage defense? Zona. So, Houston's 2 biggest strengths are really negated by Arizona. I honestly see a similar fate to last year in the Final Four. I think Zona blows them out. They have 2 NBA players. I mean, I guess you can argue Klocko, but I mean, Benedict Mathurin, what an absolute stud. And what's his name? Kira Krisa, their guard. I mean, he was a great 3-point shooter. He's streaky. He was 1 for 10 in the last game coming back from an injury. Yeah. I have a hard time believing that he shoots that poorly again. And, and Arizona's really not a great 3-point shooting team, but they average 84 points a game. They're blazing fast in transition, and I'll tell you what, they can score quickly in the half court as well. Houston's tough, they're gritty, they won't go out without a fight, but I just look for them to be overmatched against just a far more athletic, more talented team, and I can see this one getting ugly.
Yeah, I mean, and Houston can struggle to score. I mean, let's not forget that. I mean, they can struggle to score at times, and that is one thing that we saw last year against Baylor. They couldn't score when they needed to, and it was, I mean, what was that, a 20-point blowout? I mean, I think I even teased them, which was very ignorant, and it didn't matter. Real quick though, I know if you guys, some of you like these trends and stuff. I saw this one today. So since 1985, there have been 21 number 1 seeds that went 0-2 against the spread in the first and second round and were able to reach the Sweet 16. So that fits Arizona and that fits Gonzaga. They're 7-11-3 ATS, but they're 14-7 straight up. So if you're looking at that, and again, not a guy that looks at a trend and says, oh, I'm going to go bet Arkansas against the spread and I'm going to parlay, Arizona and Gonzaga, or I'm going to bet Arizona on the money line. But, we talked about it. Arizona barely gets by. And, now you've got this little bit of piece of history, which, again, take it for what it's worth. But, again, a team that survived. There's a reason they come out and win those games in the Sweet 16. I mean, that to me is not a coincidence. I think, like you said, it's more of a bet on than it is a fade. 100%.
Yeah. And one other thing going against Houston is, we talk about free throw shooting, and they're ranked 327 in the nation out of about 358. So they're like in the bottom 5%. These guys just cannot shoot free throws. In a game that's aligned as, a 1-point spread, it's going to most likely come down to the wire. Do you want the team who can't shoot free throws? I certainly don't.
Right. So I agree with you 100%. So yeah, I mean, I guess just to sum this up, we got about 5 minutes here before Arkansas and Gonzaga tip off. I lean Gonzaga -9.5. I know you lean to Arkansas +9.5. No play there. We both like Villanova minus the 4.5, minus the 5. I'll tell you right now, too, if Nova gets down in this game and I can get them at -150 or less on the money line, I will. I'll be betting Nova Live for sure. Duke, Texas Tech, all over Duke. Your biggest play of the tournament. Probably my biggest and probably my best play over these next couple of days. And then in the last matchup, Houston, Arizona, both of us on Arizona in that one. I know you said you already bet it. I'm a little on the fence about that one. What will probably end up riding Arizona in that spot. So anything else to add?
Nope, that's all I got. Yeah, we like some games tomorrow, but I don't think there's any rush into betting these. A lot of these lines are pretty much,
Set.
set. I mean, I guess some money's coming in on UNC, which I'm in no rush to bet them. So, let it keep coming in. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll touch on those games tomorrow. We'll give you a cliffhanger.
Yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow. Looks like tomorrow's first game, same time as tonight. So we'll be back tomorrow again, 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central. We'll break down all the games. Hopefully, come back with some winners from tonight. So good luck in whatever you bet, and hopefully we were able to share some knowledge to help you pick your bets. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep. Good luck, guys.